Okay, so yesterday we started with the subject and got a simple explanation for the signal. My voice is clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And this PPT is visible? Is it in the slide mode?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, so we started with that signals and system. We saw few examples of signals and an example of the system. In terms of communication system also we have seen, and in terms of control system also we have seen how important is the study of the signals and system. Also we have seen with an example. So, and we started with the classification of the signals. So in terms of periodicity, we can tell the property or we can classify the signal as periodic as well as non-periodic signals. Okay, so periodic signal, in simple sentence I can tell, the one which repeats its pattern after a certain interval of time, or after a certain period the pattern of the signal will repeat. Okay, and yesterday I told you our real life signals, real world phenomenon which can be considered as signals. So those signals are mostly non-periodic. So the periodic signals, we can take it as the sinusoidal signals, complex sinusoidal signals. All those things can be considered as a periodic one. Okay, but our real world signals mostly they are available in non-periodic, because their magnitudes always keeps on changing. They don't have a regular pattern. Okay, so mostly now we will be dealing with the periodic signal, even though our real world signals available are non-periodic. Now we will first learn the analysis of the periodic signals. So the periodic signal is the basic definition I can write is x of t plus t equal to x of t. Okay, even if I add to the time interval the time period capital T, so the same signal you will get. So that means the signal will repeat its pattern after a regular interval of period T. So this is the definition or the equation for a continuous time signal. Now the same way we can write the equation for the uh, discrete signal also. Discrete signal is how we obtain the discrete signal by sampling your continuous time signal. We can obtain the discrete signal. So the same definition I can apply for the discrete signal also. That is x of n plus n will be equal to x of n. So the again here also the sequence or the pattern will repeat again after nth sample, capital N is the nth sample. So after that nth sample the pattern will repeat itself again. So can you tell in this figure shown what is the capital N? After which sample the sequence is repeating? After which sample? On the x-axis we have the sample and on the y-axis we have the magnitude. Okay, you can see at the first sample the magnitude of the signal is 2, and at the second sample the magnitude is 3, and at the third sample the magnitude is 4. Again, now coming on to the fourth sample, the magnitude is again 1, fifth is 2, sixth is 3, seventh is 4. So you can see after the third sample the sequence is repeating or the pattern is repeating again. Okay, so the capital N can be taken as 3. So after that the sequence is repeating again. Okay, so this is what you meant by periodic. The signal is periodic or not. Now, these are the things you have to take into consideration as the properties of the periodic signal. So, if a signal is periodic, then I can define the frequency of the signal. Okay, if capital T is the time period of the signal, then I can tell 1 upon T is the time period of the signal. So if I define in terms of angular frequency, I can write it as 2 pi by T. Now the same way you can, because you have to simultaneously understand the analysis of the continuous time signal as well as discrete. That is why whenever I am defining some property of the continuous time signal, simultaneously I am defining it for the discrete also, because you need both, because our real world signals are analog in nature, but the processing is done in the digital world. So you have to study both. Okay, so for an n periodic sequence, so I can define the frequency as 1 upon n, capital N, and again here also the angular frequency is 2 pi by n. Now this capital T is the fundamental period, or the 1 upon T is the fundamental frequency. I can define the signal in another way also. The pattern of the signal will repeat with a period of kt also. Instead of t, I can write 2t, 3t, 4t also, because after every t the pattern is repeating. So I can tell after t plus 3t also the pattern is repeating. Okay, but the fundamental period will be always t. You can see in this diagram they have marked the 2t. Okay, so after 2t also the pattern is same only, the same signal is getting repeated. So I can write, sometimes in the definition I can write that x of t plus 2t equal to x of t, or I can write x of t plus 3t will be equal to x of t. Okay, so since the signal is periodic, I can write like this, but the fundamental period is always the smallest period, which is the capital T, or the fundamental frequency. Because this is important, because you have to find out for a periodic signal, you have to extract what is the fundamental period and what is the fundamental frequency of a particular signal. So a signal which is non-periodic, that means it will not repeat itself after a regular interval of time, that is non-periodic, or in another name for that is aperiodic signals. So again I have told you earlier, it is real life, most of the signals will be non-periodic in nature. So this is an example of a non-periodic signal. You can see there is no regular pattern for the signal. The magnitude keeps on changing, and you can see the signal is not symmetric about the x-axis. Okay, so such signal is non-periodic in nature. So now let us verify it theoretically, how to identify whether the given signal is periodic or whether it is non-periodic in nature. So the sinusoidal as well as cosinusoidal signal, all these are periodic in nature. We know it is periodic by looking at whatever till this time whatever we have seen, we can at a glance we can make out it is periodic in nature. But we have to prove it. How the signal you can tell it is periodic? How you are going to prove? That is x of t plus capital T will be equal to x of t. The signal will repeats. The signal will be same after a time period t. So let us take that signal, cosinusoidal signal. Let us write it as x of t is equal to a cos theta or omega 0 t. Okay, so I am following Nagur-Kani, that is signals and systems. So whatever symbols I am using, that will be from that textbooks. So the textbook I am referring, again I am telling it is Signals and Systems by Nagur-Kani. Okay, so most of the topics are covered in this books. Initial chapters, first, second and third chapters will be, if you are planning to purchase any books, you can purchase this. But last two chapters will not come in this books, that you have to refer other books. Okay, So this is the denotation given in that book. For theta t, instead of theta they have mentioned omega 0 t. So a cos omega 0 t. So how we are going to change, we are going to add the time period into this, that is x of t plus t. I am going to write x of t plus t is equal to, then wherever small t is there you have to increment with the time period t. So I can write a cos omega 0 into t plus t. Now let us open the bracket of right hand side of your equation. So it will be a cos, take omega 0 inside that and open the bracket. So omega 0 t plus omega 0 into capital T. Now I can write omega 0 as the 2 pi f. I can write it as 2 pi f, or in terms of time period I can write 2 pi by t. So after substituting for that omega 0, you can see the capital T, the time period will get cancelled and you are left out with a cos omega 0 into t plus 2 pi. So what is cos 2 pi plus theta? What is cos 2 pi plus theta? What is cos 2 pi plus theta? Anyone?
Cos theta, ma'am.
Cos theta.
Yes, cos theta only. So finally you are left out with your original signal x of t, which is a cos omega 0 into t. So this way you have to prove, you have to check whether your signal is periodic or not. This is very simple because it is a cosine signal. So directly if a given signal is cosine or sinusoidal, you can directly write it as the signal is periodic because cosinusoidal and sinusoidal signals are always periodic in nature. But if the proof is asked for cosine or sine signal, then you have to prove it in this way. Okay, by applying the changing the signal from x of t plus t. I hope everyone understood this. Now, not only sine and cosine signals, complex exponential signals, they are also periodic in nature. Okay, so let us take a complex exponential signal a into e raised to j omega 0 t. So here also I have to prove, even though it is told that complex signals are periodic in nature, I have to prove it. So here also prove how you are going to do. You are going to uh, add your time period and you are going to check whether after this time period also you are obtaining the same signal x of t. So here I can write x of t plus t is equal to a into e raised to j omega 0, wherever small t is there, increment with the time period t. So t plus t. Now you open the bracket on the right hand side. So open it and you can obtain the two part e raised to j omega 0 into t into e raised to j omega 0 into capital T. Now again the same thing you can apply here. How we have written for omega 0, you can write it as 2 pi by t. The same thing you can apply here also, so that the capital T will get cancelled and you are left out with e raised to j 2 pi. Okay, e raised to j 2 pi. Now e raised to j 2 pi can be written, how you can write in terms of sine and cosine? How you can write? How you can write e raised to j 2 pi?
Cos 2 pi plus I
Yes.
sin 2 pi.
Yes,
J
sine.
sin 2.
So j sine 2 pi. So you can write e raised to j 2 pi as cos 2 pi plus j sine 2 pi. So we know that sine 2 pi will be 0 and cos 2 pi will be 1. So finally you are left out with a into e raised to j omega 0 t. So this is your original signal x of t. So you have proved it that complex exponential signals are also periodic in nature. So if given signal is directly cosine or sine or complex exponential signals, you can directly write it as they will be periodic in nature, right? You have to write it like that. Complex exponential signals will be periodic in nature. You need not prove if the proof is not asked. But you have to find the fundamental period or fundamental frequency of the signal. So finally we can write complex signals are periodic, sinusoidal signals, cosine signals are periodic in nature. Now another new thing you have to hear is when a continuous time signal is mixture of two periodic signals. Sometimes a signal contains x of t will be equal to sum of two signals. So the first part will be having a time period of t1 and the second signal will have a time period of t2. Then how to check your signal x of t will be periodic. So if this condition is satisfied, then only you can tell your original signal is periodic. That is, if the time period t1 divided by time period t2 is a rational number. That means if t1 is individually integer and t2 is individually they are integer, then their ratio will be a rational number. So if this condition is satisfied, then only your original signal x of t will be periodic in nature. Now if after finding we found out the signal is periodic in nature, that is you got t1 by t2 is a rational number, then to find the time period of such a signal is the time period of your original signal will be the LCM of T1 and T2. Okay, this we will do with the help of an example, and we will understand what is how to identify whether your signal when it contains mixture of two signals, how to check whether the signal is periodic or not with the condition T1 by T2 and the time period of your original signal is the LCM of T1 and T2. With an example, we will see that. Okay, so let us see an example, that is we have to check whether the following continuous time signals are periodic or not. If periodic, then find the fundamental period. Okay, you have to check whether the given signal is periodic or not. If it is periodic, you have to extract the fundamental period of that signal. So let us take the first signal, that is x of t equal to 2 cos t by 4. So already we have seen the cosine signals are periodic in nature. So directly you can write the given signal is cosine signal, so which is always periodic in nature. So you need not prove it, since the proof is not asked, you need not prove it. Again, look at the mark distribution and accordingly you have to do also. Okay, if the mark distribution is more, then you have to prove it. Otherwise, if the marks is very less, then you have to extract only the fundamental period of that signal. We can write this as a sentence that the signal is periodic. Now let us find out the fundamental period for this. So x of t is equal to 2 cos t by 4. So this I can compare with your general equation for cosine signal. General equation is a cos 2 pi ft. This is the general equation for the cosine signal, a cos 2 pi ft. So in this I can equate the left hand side and the right hand side part. So 1 by 4 I can equate it as, how you can write, how can you equate 1 by 4 to will be equal to, if you equate LH and RHS, how you can equate, on the left hand side you have 2 cos t by 4. Okay, or I can write 2 cos 1 by 4 into t. So 1 by 4 can be equated on the right hand side to which term?
Two pi f.
2 pi f. So 1 by 4 is equal to 2 pi f, or f will be equal to 1 upon 8 pi, or time period is equal to 8 pi. So this is very simple signal. It is easy to extract the fundamental period of that. Just equate with your general equation and find out the time period. Now let us take the second signal, that is x of t is equal to e raised to alpha t, where alpha is greater than 1. Okay, where alpha is greater than, yes.
Can you just show the previous slide? I didn't take the screenshot. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Let us take x of t is equal to e raised to alpha t, where alpha is greater than 1, given that alpha is greater than 1. Now let us check whether the given signal is periodic or not. This is not a complex signal, this is not a cosine signal, this is not a sine signal. So you cannot directly write it is periodic in nature. So you have to prove whether, you have to check whether the given signal is periodic or not. Okay, if it is periodic, then only you need to find the fundamental period or fundamental frequency. So let us take your signal x of t and increment it with the time period capital T. So x of t plus t is equal to e raised to alpha t plus t. So wherever small t is there, I will increment it with capital T. Now I can open the bracket, e raised to alpha t into e raised to alpha into t. So since it is given in the question that value of alpha is greater than 1, okay, for any value of alpha, you will obtain e raised to alpha into capital T will not be equal to 1. Okay. In this condition, if the signal to be periodic, if x of t plus t is equal to x of t, what you should obtain? In this condition, x of t plus t will be equal to x of t. You have to obtain the original signal. That means this thing should be equal to 1. Okay, then only you can obtain your original signal. But for any value of alpha, where alpha greater than 1, your e raised to alpha t will not be equal to 1. So that means I can tell here that x of t plus t is not equal to x of t, or the signal is not periodic in nature. So the given signal is not periodic. It is a non-periodic or aperiodic signal. Are you able to follow?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Now let us take the third example, where we have seen that I already mentioned that if a signal contains a mixture of two signals, then how to check the periodicity, and if it is periodic, how to find the fundamental period of your signal x of t. So here it contains two cosine signals, that is cos 2 pi t by 3 and 3 cos 2 pi t by 7. Okay. Is they individually periodic, these two signals? Are they individually periodic in nature? Are they individually
Yes.
periodic? Yes, because it is cosine signals. So you have to write a note below that. Cosine signals are sinusoidal in nature. Cosine signals are periodic in nature, and they are individually periodic. Now, if they are individually periodic, you can find the individual time period of the signals. So can you take a pen and find out what is the time period, or what is the frequency, fundamental frequency of these two signals? Find out and tell me. Just now I showed you how to extract the fundamental period. You have to equate your with your general equation. Here I have shown here the earlier, yes, this one. This one, how to extract your fundamental period, equate to your general equation a cos 2 pi ft, and find out the fundamental period. For this signal also, separately you find out what are the time period, or the fundamental frequency. What is T1 and T2? That is my capital T1 and capital T2, where capital T1 is the fundamental period of the first signal, capital T2 is the fundamental period of the second signal? Find out and tell now.
3 and 7.
Sorry? Repeat.
3 and 7.
3 and? Not clear to me.
7.
7. Let us see.
Given by
The fundamental frequency of the first one is 1/3. F2 is 1/7. So T1
Hello?
is equal to 3. Yes.
Ma'am, and the attendance is posted, ma'am. Kindly just
Okay. Okay.
Oh.
You can fill the attendance now. I hope you have given the attendance. Okay. So the fundamental time period for first signal is 3 and fundamental time period for the second signal is 7. So what was the condition? If the ratio of the time period of the individual signals, if it is rational, okay, then the x of t will be periodic. That is T1 by T2 is equal to 3 by 7. So it is a rational number. Okay, so I can write the signal x of t will be periodic in nature. Now, how to find the fundamental period of x of t? It is the LCM of T1 and T2. LCM of the fundamental period T1 and the fundamental period T2. So what is the LCM of 3 and 7? What is the LCM of 3 and 7? Can anyone remember how to find the least common multiple LCM of two numbers, that is 3 and 7? Anyone?
21.
Yes, 21. 3 into 7 is 21. So this is the fundamental period of t, fundamental period t of the signal x of t. Okay, so now let us, you understood little bit. We will do more numericals later in the this tutorial about this fundamental, about the periodicity of the signal. Let us go to the next classification or the next property of the signal, that is even signal and odd signals, or I can tell even signals are symmetric in nature and odd signals are asymmetric. What do you mean by symmetricity? Symmetric means what? What do you mean by
About
symmetric?
y-axis.
Yes, about the not y-axis, about x-axis. The signal will be equal. If I take sinusoidal signal, it will have equal positive and the equal negative cycles. Okay, so if the signals becomes asymmetric in nature, then as per electrical point of view, the signals has to be symmetric. Otherwise, it will inject harmonics into the system. Okay, so here symmetric to check whether the given signal is symmetric. So before that, let us see the definition for symmetric signal. So a function is said to be even signal if it satisfies the condition x of minus t is equal to x of t. If I negate inside the bracket, that is if I put negative to t, but you will obtain the same signal x of t for all t. So again for sequence, that is for the discrete signal, x of minus n will be equal to x of n for all n. So this is the proof how to check whether the given signal is even or odd in nature. Now let us see your geometrically the graph of an even signal about the origin. Okay, so about, yes, what you told is about the y-axis also you can, yes, about the y-axis also you can tell the signal is symmetric. Here in the given signal is on the left hand side is a continuous time signal. So the signal is symmetric about the y-axis. You can see on the origin on the left hand side of the signal, the same signal is available on the right hand side also. Okay, so it is the mirror image of the left hand side on the right hand side. If I take the case of a discrete signal also, you can see on the about the y-axis the signal is symmetric in nature about the origin. Normally we will tell it about the origin. The signal, the same pattern will be on the right hand side as well as the left hand side. Now how you define an odd signal? If x of minus t you will get as minus x of t, then the signal is odd in nature. And for the sequence also same, x of minus n is equal to minus x of n. So geometrically the graph of an odd is antisymmetric about the origin. You can see the pattern is not same on the left hand side as well as right hand side of the y-axis. If you take the mirror image, it is not the same. Pattern is not there on the right as well as left. Now what are the properties of this continuous odd or even signals? You can express a signal which is neither odd nor even as a sum of even and odd signal. Any signals can be expressed as a sum of even and odd signal. How you can do that? Let us take a signal as x of t, which contains which can be categorized or which can be divided into two sections, that is even part where x of e of t is the even part and x o of t is the odd part. I'm going to divide your signal into even part and odd part. Okay, so we are assuming that your signal x of t is neither odd nor even. Okay, so such signal will be having, I can express them as sum of even signal and odd signal. So what is the equation for x? How to obtain the even part of such a signal? X e of t is equal to half of x of t plus x of minus t. Okay, that is the equation to obtain the even part of your original signal x of t. And how to obtain the odd part? Half of x of t minus x of minus t. Okay, so your original signal x of t can be expressed as a sum of even and odd, assuming that your original signal is neither odd nor even. Okay, if the signal is even in nature, then it will not have an odd part. If the signal is odd in nature, then it will not have the even part. Okay, if the signal is neither even nor odd, then only it will have these two sections. Okay, so let us determine the even and odd part of the continuous time signal. Okay, this given signal, let us find out using this formula the even and the odd part. So let us first obtain x of minus t. This we require in our formula. That is why first we are finding x of minus t. So x of minus t will be e raised to minus t. Now let us take out that formula for obtaining the even part, that is half of x of t plus x of minus t. So x of t is your original signal and x of minus t you have found out as e raised to minus t. Just apply that, you obtain the even part. Similarly, obtain the odd part and you got half of e raised to t minus e raised to minus t. Okay, so all these things we require, these are the fundamental things to fundamental procedures for analyzing the signals. Okay, so this we later use as advanced, this will be later used for the analysis of the signals, but these are the basic steps used in the analysis of the signals, that is to separate the even and the odd part. Okay, for the design purpose and all, we need to separate the signals into different category. One of them is this even and to separate them into even and the odd signals.
This song is silent. I haven't taken it.
Okay, so this much only I am taking it for today. Let us do practice a few questions on the periodic.